mix of having both Bounty as well as Mirana ulti would set up too much for them or something?
It'd be a very kind of aggressive mid-game hero. Wraith King Mirana heroes that want to fight, not farm, so I believe both of these heroes could very likely be cores as well. So if you want these more fight-heavy cores, a hero like Bounty with Track is just going to enable them, give them more chase potential, more gold for all those kills they're getting, and also be pretty good at hunting.
Mineski's turn to pick.
That's a lot of draw bans pretty standard.
Team
Visage as well, very good for just winning the lane a little bit and then just going into the death push. And CM picked up too. Another hero we expected to see one of the most picked, most banned. Very good at controlling the lane against somebody like a Nature's Prophet sometimes, or limiting the push potential.
CM picked up too. Another hero we expected to see one of the most picked,
See what Liquid and Kuro have in mind for their draft's direction. Definitely have some strong laners of their own, so I'm not too worried about them getting kind of overrun by the aggression of the 3 Mineski heroes so far.
Yeah, they do have really good laners. So I mean, Mirana's, you could argue, just a tiny bit weak, but with Wraith King and Crystal, made in lots of spells to cast, and lots of lane control to get out of that.
Winding down some of this reserve time. Definitely both teams seem to be thinking things through a bit more, just knowing, you know, the stakes are a bit higher the further down the group stage you go. You're in day 3 now. You really need to secure those wins, particularly Mineski, who need it to get top 4. Liquid want to kind of maintain their top 4, and Group A is at the top is... You're in day 3 now. You really need to secure those wins, particularly Mineski, who need it to get top 4. Liquid want to kind of maintain their top 4. Given that, it's kind of very clear who you need to beat at any given time when you're in Group A.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of looking forward to tiebreakers myself, because you know, day 4 there's not that many matches scheduled. I could use some extra matches. I'm a little also scared about just how many there could be, depending on how it goes. And it certainly reminds me a bit of the TI4 days, where there was that like 3-team tiebreaker where newbie wins and goes on to win TI. That was pretty exciting. Good storyline.
It's crazy that, yeah, a team who could squeak, like maybe be on borderline elimination and gets their own tiebreakers could actually be a team that ends up in the top 8 or top 6, because that's just how close, how competitive this tournament's been. It's been such great games, and there's such parity between the teams, between the regions. There's definitely some top teams who have shown more dominance in the group stage, EG, VGJ being the 2 who I believe have each only dropped 1 game, but after that everyone's dropped 3 odd games or so, and everyone's won 3 or so games. So,
and even Team Liquid's not super immune to that either. They've had a couple close calls where it seemed like they were going to take losses, but you know, naturally they're very good overall across the board, good at early game, good at late game, and they were able to pull it back in some of those close moments. The Silencer pickup has been getting kind of popular, and against cores like, or heroes like Wraith King or Mirana or CM who do want to go for all of these early fights, if you can turn those engagements around with a Silencer ulti, it can be hugely beneficial to your team. And even in the laning stage, Silencer gets a lot done too. Curse of Silent against any of these heroes that need to cast spells to be effective, like CM and Wraith King. It just does a lot of work.
It is normally paired with some kind of like hard initiator, though, which they don't really have. Like a swap initiation is just, you know, it's not really your way you want to always be starting a fight. It's a nice little gimmick you can use hero there, particularly when you have like a swap into an instant hex, but typically you see that silencer, you know, with the Bat Riders or some kind of blink stunner that Liquid currently don't really have, because that's where you can kind of get the most out of the global silence. So
how have you felt about Tiny so far in this tournament? He's been streaking a decent amount.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a bit inconsistent sometimes.
He's been definitely a fairly popular pick. I feel like he's, you know, top 20 most picked heroes or so. Like he's been picked quite a bit, at least 15 odd games or so. He seems 50-50-ish. Like I never feel like he's a weak core to be picking. He wins his lane the majority of times, which I think is a big reason why teams thought he'd be good coming into this tournament, because it's, you know, talked about as being such a lane-driven patch where, you know, win your lanes, win the game. It's this, you're back to this 2-on-2 meta where there's no safe lane, off lane. Every single lane is contested, and that's where Tiny theoretically can be very strong.
And he is pretty good this game too, because he can clear trees, a little bit of burst damage. I like pairing a Mirana who can more or less get a free smoke every once in a while and set up some really crucial kills is definitely great when you pair it with somebody like Tiny. So, and against a Silencer and Avenge now, that looks like 3 heroes as a Tiny player that are potentially food at many stages of the game. So I think Tiny was definitely a solid snag here.
Oh, Spectre, another global hero to go with the Nature's Prophet ultimate. Not that that is really on Liquid's mind, I imagine, in picking this hero, although it is a nice little bit of micro synergy, but a very just strong carry from what we've seen.
They're global stratting him.
Yeah.
Prophet, Silencer, Spectre. I mean,
yeah.
You need a Zeus now, right?
That's true. There's a Zeus missing, and what was the other one that often went in the global strat? You get like an Invoker or something for Sunstrike.
Yeah. Well, added benefit there. Spectre's been streaking quite a bit with EG at least. A lot of games they were picking in the first phase. They seem to know the ins and outs of the hero. Even when their opponents pick Spectre against them first phase, they knew how to beat it. So it might just be EG being better, but to see it come out here is no surprise. And as a hero, it's pretty good this game, I'd argue. You could go Mana Drain if you want to. Probably won't see that. Maybe just tank up Radiance kind of team fight stuff, or maybe a Vanguard Blade Mail to survive the early game, perhaps.
I think just playing around that tankiness with your Blade Mail Dispersion and your damage output just by, you can go in the fight and die first. We saw that in some of the EG games. It was like Arteezy ran in, died to 4 heroes, but he got them all so low that Sumail, who was playing Storm in one of those games, just cleaned up. And Arteezy dying, led to his team getting like 3 or 4 kills. So reliable damage output of Spectre is definitely one of the hero's strengths.
And here's one of their closer heroes that's going to allow them to pick off some big cores. Necrophos with something like a Veil, maybe a Hood, ends up being very tanky. They get a Blink later, maybe an Axe to allow them to kill heroes a little bit more often. And that's going to be somebody that can create some space for the rest of the team, at least until the Spectre gets tanky. With that said, before that moment, before Spectre is tanky, they don't have that much going for them survivability-wise past defensive swap, global silence, and then Necrophos's Ghost Shroud. And they are still pretty nuke-heavy on the Mineski side, so
yeah, they're not
Necro feels a little vulnerable.
Yeah, it's not like their Necropops Ghost Shroud, and it's like, oh, you can't hurt me, you're all physical damage. Between, Tiny's combo, Mirana nukes, CM, Wraith King, there's all, at least, everyone has some magic damage.
But I guess with Global Silence and Ghost Shroud, you basically are invulnerable, though, is the one benefit. There's almost no way to die in those moments. So if Team Liquid can pick their fights in good ways, they absolutely can carry this to some momentum. But usually the counter to Spectre is like pressuring him in lane. Do you think the Mineski heroes are going to be able to handle that with what they have?
The support's pretty strong on Liquid side. We'll find out what the last hero's going to be. Okay, yeah, they definitely can pressure the Spectre. They just got an edge. That's one of the scarier, stronger laning heroes, I would say. And something that's been getting first picked in a lot of these games by certain teams and regions, e.g. most notably, S4 has been playing this whenever he can get his hands on it.
It's been really good too, the amount of damage that you can output. As long as you have a good laning stage and you start transitioning into those typical Dragonlance, Hurricane Pike, Axe builds, nobody wants to focus you because you're hard to kill, and then you just turn your heal on and you go crazy staying alive, and then you just toss tons of damage in a team fight. As long as you're not the person that's focused, the hero can work really well. With that said though, they do still have a Necrophos, so if she ever does get initiated on with a disable of some kind and lowered, she can be bursted quite rapidly. So I think Liquid does have some solutions. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world for them to take a moment to use some spells to burst Enchantress, but it's actually going to be a support Enchantress. Jab's going to be playing that one, so maybe less worth it.
Yeah, we would likely see some amount of items in scaling. At least I would like to see it, because Enchantress, to me, one of the better heroes against Spectre because of the range factor. Spectre, with all your damage output from Dispersion, is range-based, so the further away you are, the less damage you're taking, or if you're far enough away, you take none at all, and that's kind of Enchantress in a nutshell. Sit really far back and throw those impetuses. So I like the hero against Spectre, but we do need to see some farm if you want Jabs to be an actual big damage dealer.
And Mushi going to be playing a Tiny this game. He's been focusing a little bit more on like typical hard carries, so maybe a little bit more ganking focus this game, or maybe he will go more of a fighting build. ISS is going to be playing the Wraith King and Moon on the Mirana in the mid lane, looking like he's going to be up against Matoma Man, I guess, on the Necrophos.
Yeah, I don't imagine we see a mid-Spectre.
Or a mid-Prophet, there's almost no way, right? Surely you put that on silence. There's not enough trees to make little friends from,
Yeah, there's no... I mean, mid-Prophet has been done before. That happened. It could theoretically make sense, but I agree the mid-Necro is way more likely and sounds a whole lot better.
Mid-Prophet has been done
so the lanes are going to be...
Oh, I've seen that happen.
For both teams, really, and I think when you're up against a... is that you end up having some kind of pressure on him so he doesn't get off to a great start. So big pressure from Mineski's side is, I think, what's going to be on the menu.
Alright, well, here we go. Lane's going to unravel. It's going to be Mineski playing on that dire side. A very important game for them. They still have to verse LGD as well as Liquid here, and they're already at a losing 4-6 record. They need to start putting up some wins if they want to get into that winner bracket of TI. As for Liquid, seeing a bit more comfortable. 5 wins, 3 losses. They just need to have some strong showings here on their last couple day of games to find themselves starting in the winner bracket, which is the main thing that matters. Whether they get first in the group or third or fourth, it's, you know, it affects your matchup come playoffs time, but you just want to be in that winner bracket.
Yeah, but the high seed also is pretty significant because hypothetically you get first seed in the lower bracket and you're going to play against the worst team or the worst scoring team in the opposite side. You know, once in a while that'll end up being like Wings or something. You never know. Any advantageous seed is always going to help a bit. A little observer ward placed down here from Mineski trying to spot out the Liquid lanes because they want to get the right matchups. But so far, as of yet, I don't think they've spotted each other. We do see some treants moving across the map though. That means they are going to be able to tell on Liquid side a little earlier. If they fight over the bounties a little bit here. Liquid wanting to contest a bit, but they already have control of 2 runes on the opposite side of the map. This is the safer play. Maybe they could have gotten 3 there, but for all they know, there's maybe 3 or 4 Mineski heroes sitting around waiting for a first blood.
Yeah, you don't see anyone top, so like you say, you don't know how many heroes are down there. Play it safe, just take your 2 bounties and focus on executing your game plan, which is going to be this strong, aggressive tri-lane up top, at least initially. Both GH and Kuro are looking to secure Miracle's early game farm on Spectre, and he is playing, well, in what is traditionally the harder lane. As Mushi hiding in the trees, forced to TP actually down bottom. He doesn't want to mess around up top. He sees these 3 heroes and says, I am going to go deal with the Nature's Prophet. I've got the tree grab. I'm the guy who can actually fight the MP the best.
And normally when this happens, you end up seeing the carry walk across the map to get to the other lane faster for the lane swaps, but Mushi just going to be happy to go for the teleport. We'll see if Liquid ends up lane swap.
Ice immediately getting stunned up and daggered. He may just go down here. This could be an early first blood. He does turn and throw the stun underneath the tower, doing some good damage on a GH, and Jabs maybe close to getting this kill. He's very fast. He can look to chase down, but the Salve Clarity from GH will keep him in good fighting shape there. Ice getting some help from Jabs with that level 1 Nature's Attendant.
I thought that was just going to be awful for Ice, but the fact that he got the stun under the tower was hugely impactful. Another stun on Enchantress here, but no follow-up as the creep wave is pushing, and in fact, Venge is going to lose a lot of health here.
Man, they can't really chase too much further. The curse is going to slow them down a little bit and also prevent them from wanting to cast too many more spells, so...
There's a lot of trading, but ultimately this looks pretty good for Mineski for me, at least. Enchantress already picked up a level 2, so all of these early trades that are happening are just going to benefit them because of the attack speed reduction. They aren't pressuring Spectre though, so it's accomplishing some things but not everything.
And the pure fact that it's a 2v3 lane where they're just trading, harass, and going kind of even speaks that the other lane should be going well because bottom is a 2v1, mid pure 1v1, but it's an okay matchup for the Mirana. Although at the same time I'd say it's still maybe 60-40 Necro favored. He's just such a strong laner.
Trying to play around runes if needed. It's going to be an illusion, not the best one to grab at the start of the game, but still worth grabbing for Matumba Man here. And keep in mind that at any moment, Nature's Prophet could teleport around the map and try to help out with some right clicks. Having the Blightstone is absolutely going to help there.
This is, I think, one of the strengths and why Nature's Prophet used to be played quite a lot is that you run these tri-lanes and then suddenly it turns it into like a 4v3 if there's a tri-lane versus tri-lane action, and Nature's Prophet can tip the scales. Would take him away from this bottom lane for a little bit, but you can always use your TP scroll to get back after using your teleportation skill.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of zoning Miracle. He's not very harassed.
Bottom lane, they've gone in on Nature's Prophet. Avalanche, tossed back. They have a Frostbite pulled up, and that's going to be first blood. Mushi brings down mind control.
It's amazing how many levels they've gotten already. Crystal Maiden picking up 3 and having Frostbite available to interrupt the TP. It was really good timing. They've gotten plenty out of their lane. 15 and 5 on Mushi's side and CM 4-0. So yeah, they've gotten a lot of these creeps.
That was a very, very nice little pickup there. I believe, yeah, using some of these side camps here, getting lots of good denies. Top lane, they've gone back in for a little clash once more. It's the dual stuns coming out from the Radiant side, but that's not going to be enough here. As Wraith King on full retreat, he will go down to Miracle.
Jeff's going to try to get the follow-up kill though. It's going to be low. He's got a salve though. And with the Skelly following, he's a little worried about getting interrupted.
It's stopping the salve, yeah.
Alright, he's going to be safe to do it now.
He actually is going to go TP's out while salving. That's a little bit surprising. He TP'd only back to his shrine, so he didn't go all the way back home. And very smart, he TP's to the shrine, because if he TP'd to his tier 1, I believe it would have been like a 5-second TP or something because of all the action there. Something most players just completely forget about when TPing the towers.
And he was actually just here to pick up the ring of health, so this is just a nice efficiency play for him. And I like that he rushed this pre-getting boots, because this is a bit of a scary lane, and as long as he keeps his health full most of the time, it's going to be his supports dying, not his hero, and ultimately that's more important than the opposite.
Yep. As far as the big picture goes, you can see the CS is looking pretty damn decent for Mineski, though. Yeah. 3 lanes, all 3 of their core heroes getting farmed. Necro, the one hero on Liquid side who you could say, yeah, he's having a good time, he's having a good lane, whereas both Spectre and Nature's Prophet, while not getting completely shut down, aren't quite farming as well as Mineski.
Maybe they'll catch up in a moment here, but I mean, this is one of the big reasons that you usually...
Rana leaped in, gets the kill mid. Nice rotation from Ninja Boogie.
Okay. But this is why you don't always want to do tri-lanes, is because the tri-lane usually helps you overwhelmingly win that one lane, but the other dual lane is going to be tough. And in this case, the dual lane is still doing very well.
Yep. Top lane. Stuns being exchanged between GH and Ice as the dual lane continues to hold their own up here. And the really nice thing about to kind of expand upon that is that it's not even just the fact you've got a 2v1 lane. This support CM can rotate between mid and bottom. He's helping 2 lanes at once, and Chantra's barely staying alive. Will get the bounty room before potentially going down. Jab still might be okay here. Actually going to turn and fight here. The last word from the silencer. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like the damage is there, and he gets both bounty runes as well. Ninja Boogie in the ones down bottom, and GH ends up going down to the shockwave spam coming out from Jabs. Great use of the enchant, and also some very fortunate neutral creep findings with the Satyr.
Mineski has actually been kind of owning with this dual lane, the Wraith King and Chantress, and we even saw the skeletons being used effectively. I mean, Liquid was getting really good benefit from Arcane Curse. I think he had that, Ice had that Arcane Curse on him for like 15 seconds or something.
Going in again on top, Miracle in all sorts of trouble. He's getting stunned and initiate on once more with the skeletons, and Jabs will finish him off with some right-click points. Ninja Boogie actually TP's up top expecting a bigger clash. He was lurking around mid looking for another initiation onto Matu's Necrophos. Doesn't find it.
It's fine he came though, because Jabs is able to use Enchant to grab the catapult from the enemy side. Yeah, this is actually a huge push coming now.
Great
especially once these skeletons end up aggroing.
Yeah, this was meant to be the tri-lane Spectre, where you secure his farm, you tri-lane him and give him a good time, but that just has not been the case. It's going to bring the supports once again back up to this top lane to try and defend, but these double sieges are still on the tower.
And they have way more levels, 3 level 4 heroes versus 3 level 3, so that extra skill point can make the difference in these little engagements. But creep wave pushes past, which means it's going to be catapults tanking towers, and maybe a little Ice tanking towers too.
Yeah, they glyphed there, but it was when the towers were actually hitting the heroes. They could have perhaps kept these siege creeps alive if they timed that glyph better, which was a bit of a mistake, but...
Either way, that's a lot of tower damage in a lane that's supposed to be an off lane. Maybe now they're calling a safe lane, yeah. Prophet gets cleaned up with the Mirana rotation here.
Nicely done. Mushi having a very good time with this favorable matchup and finding some kills. The CM of Ninja Boogie's just being moved around the map. At that time, you know, it's Moon. He's going down there to help out as well.
And even if Ninja Boogie isn't necessarily in the right place at the right time, at any moment he's giving everyone mana, which is going to go so far. Everybody needs it. Mirana's going to cast Starstorms when possible. Tiny's got Abbott toss combos that are always going to out-trade with the Nature's Prophet. And we've seen plenty and plenty of Wraith Fire Blasts so far, all being valuable.
And even the big recent Ench nerfs were to the mana cost of the level 1 Nature's Attendant, but with CM Aura and the dual lane versus tri-lane and Magic 6 charges, there's never been any mana problems for Jabs, who's now going to find another initiation and another kill, brings down Kuro. 2v3, Mineski are just crushing this top lane. They're not stopping Spectre farming. Oh, first Reaper of the game going to come out as Necrophos looks for a kill. We'll end up bringing down Ninja Boogie, not perhaps the big kill he wanted with the Mirana as Crystal Maiden.
I didn't catch the beginning of that. I'm guessing he leapt away at the same time that he got Reaper Scythe, maybe? Because it wasn't even close to 9, so it must have been just a nice reaction from Moon, which makes sense. This guy's almost always on top of things in the mid lane, wins almost many of his matchups, hasn't been doing the best this TI so far, but definitely still playing well.
Matu pressuring him all in this mid lane. Bottle Charge is going to be forced out by Moon to keep him alive behind his tower. This is laning against Necro. It's not fun. He's got all this sustain, all this constant spam. He starts to right click hard now that he has phase boots, and Even though you're a Mirana with some magic damage, that is not enough to ever really pose a threat on your own to kill him.
Jab's getting a D-ward on the cliff ward, so diving tower is going to be a bit easier, and placing knobs right next to the shrine is going to give him vision at all times of where Spectre's going to go, because he knows his lane is not very safe, and more skellies spawn on the top lane. This tower looks like it's going to fall, for sure.
Yeah, they didn't get it with the siege creeps, but they'll make sure they get the job done this time around. Spectre, no interest in defending, is actually just trying to get some jungle on Miracle though, and run into Jabs in the trees there. Jabs already level 6, so
That's so good.
the Impetus up, he gets a whole lot harder to deal with. He may be able to just solo kill the Venge behind the tier 1 tower, and back in the mid lane, Matu actually goes down. He popped the Ghost Drop, but the double Starstorm hits him and deletes him from the game for the next 25 seconds, as Crystal Maiden will be the price. Mind Control TPing in to clean that one up, but yeah, he leaps, but he's got this Arcane Curse on, so he can take a lot of damage, has 9-1 charges, should be okay even without popping them, so he holds on to them as Mushi needs to be careful on mid.
It looks like
Spectre, wow, surviving on a sliver of HP on top. Can ISS will finish him off as the action also continues to unfold back in the mid lane. It's going to be Mind Control, who's very low underneath the tower. He was looking for some additional fodder, but couldn't quite bring down anyone else on the Mineski side. So Miracle got a kill on Jabs with the help of GH before going down there. Not really worth it for the Spectre.
Yeah, I mean, any gold that he can get in levels are huge, because he does pick up 6 from this, so at least he can get in the game easier no matter where he is. And finally, their global strat's online, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron not going to land on March in the mid lane. The Starstorm is there, though. Reaper coming out. Will it get the kill? Not quite. The stun's coming too late, but Necro will not get the kill. It's Miracle instead getting a double. Fantastic recovery for the Spectre, who just respawned. You talked about the global. That's what we're seeing here. These heroes can just be anywhere on the map so quickly. The Nexus Prophet TP the Spectre home when it's up. Wraith King does not have ultimate here. He's being blocked by the treants after the Sprout. Great cleanup coming from Liquid in the mid lane. They get the tier 1 tower on top of it. Losing GH in the backlines there. Enchantress able to finish him off. I believe that must have been an urn charge ticking him down. Not the end of the world for the support though.
Almost finished him off with just right click. Something else I forgot is that Enchant actually has a basic Dispel on it now. Completely slipped my mind, but he used it against the Necro to remove Ghost Shroud and make the kill a lot easier, so the Enchantress pick is just really paying off this game, and it looks fantastic.
One of the, few rare Dispels in the game, with the removal of several, or at least some of the easier to buy ones like the old Diffusal Blade, so very value against Necrophos.
So Mushi's still getting a lot of value out of his safe lane. He's picked up a Blink Dagger already, 2-0-1 on his game. Being very effective here, and it kind of looks like Liquid doesn't feel comfortable about surviving through a possible dive, which I do not blame them too much.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be too aggressive in defending their towers or playing on the map when there's a Tiny with a Blink Dagger this early on. Enchantress already has a VIP booster and is most of the way to a Spirit Vessel, which is another very effective way of playing against the Necrophos.
Yeah, that's a great point.
He wants to go try to heal up if he's got Spirit Vessel on him. Those heals just aren't going to be anywhere near as effective. Even in team fights, if he's getting Reaper kills, he's just not going to benefit from those Death Pulse regen.
And the fun part is, like, they don't even have to worry about too many heroes right now. Necro's a little scary. Avatos coming out, Mind Control.
Almost brings him down, no Quelling Blade.
And he already used Tree Grab, so not going to be able to snag him there. Looked like he missed his Avatos a little, perhaps. But no kill. Kuro in trouble now, though.
Yep. Kuro has a sentry, but the Observer was on the high ground and he didn't get a chance to go and check it. But the TP coming in, Mind Control wants to turn it and fight this one. There's going to be Crystal Maiden ultimate from Ninja Boogie. They need to bring him down as quickly as possible. Spectre, not the one who gets the last hit, but did help bring him down. Jabs is going to TP on out. Swap going to cancel it. Invis is there from the Mirana Moonlight Shadow, but the dust is going to stop this one from being too effective. And the chase is on. Jabs 2 points in, untouchable. Gets some help from Ice Sides. The Wraith Fire Blast into an arrow. Long stun coming out onto Miracle. Ice Sides, he doesn't have his ultimate for 10 more seconds. He's going to be careful. He gets dusted as well. He's on full retreat here. Should be okay. They just don't quite have the damage to bring it down. And Mushi, he does not lack the damage. Turns around, gets in there with a combo, deletes Kuro from the game, and the chase is once again on from Mineski. These guys just don't know the word stop, retreat. They are just chasing for more kills. They want in, and they want to just keep on bullying Liquid as much as possible, knowing that this Spectre pick is just not going to be a good hero to fight with right now.
Yeah, he's queuing up a Ring of Regen, looking like he wants to finish a Hood to start the game. I think that's a good grab versus a Tiny. Otherwise, you have to always worry about getting one shot at the start of the fight, or if any disable lands on you, the enemies are going to fall up really rapidly. But, I mean, Mineski started off with a great laning stage. They're really pushing their advantage, but with that said, Liquid is still getting on the map, and they are making some trades. It doesn't always seem fantastic, but things could turn around in the next 10 or so minutes if they get a really good fight.
Yep. See if they can get that now. The next Haunt. Last time they had Haunt, they got those, what, 3 kills or so in the mid lane, just losing the support Venge. So with the globals back online, theoretically we could see the next fight coming fairly soon from the Liquid side. Even a Spectre just with Phase Boots, Aquila, and Wand does pose a bit of a threat using that Haunt around the map with the max out Spectral Dagger.
Especially if he jumps in like halfway through the fight, goes on the Crystal Maiden, for example, when her abilities are down, then that's the best person for him to go for an easy kill. And once he gets the hood, he's going to be a lot more comfortable jumping into fights like this and just being aggressive. But Tiny's still sitting around the top lane. He did spot Nature's Prophet before. He's going to find him again here. Not very good for mind control.
Gets the Avatos up, but Drum Charges will help Mushi run away, and the Tree Toss is going to bring down just a 30 health, and Mushi going to pay the price. 50 seconds he's dead for. Here comes the Global Silence. This is the big team fight of Team Liquid. Even when they're down 5k gold, they pack a punch when they group up and play with their ultimates. Side, going back in with the arrow into Stars. They take down the Necrophos. He's going to be respawning in a second with that reincarnation here as Moon forced to retreat, silenced up. Does get the leap away though, wants to maybe turn around and help Ice, who is somewhat on his own against 4 heroes, stunned up. He's in all sorts of trouble. The Crystal Maiden just wants to get the hell out of there, but I don't even know if he can do that one. Drops a freezing field miracle. Gonna not get the kill himself. It's Kuro getting a double kill of all things. And he gets a triple.
No
the Arcane
way.
Curse. It just kept whittling away at the Marana, who just wanted to get a bounty rune. He had 1 charges too.
Was he on cooled? He must have been on cooldown.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. He was running. He'd been running away for a while, but maybe I did not honestly see it. So
I do remember his escape. He was pretty low. He had a haste rune. He got out of there. He did have to leap through the Arcane Curse. I mean, that's a lot more than Kuro expected. But all of a sudden, he just got real smart. I mean, that was like 3 kills, 6 more int than he had at the start of the game, making a big difference. The Global Silence was huge there. Although I could blame Mushi a little bit. He went for an Ava before blinking. He didn't go for the Ava Toss combo. When you do that, it doubles the avalanche damage. But he went Avalanche into Toss afterwards. It gives you more stun duration but far less damage. And yes, he's ahead, but Nature's Prophet's level 10. He's got a drum. So his HP's okay. If he just goes for the Ava Toss there, he gets that kill and doesn't die for nothing. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake there by Mushi, and they've also capitalized to get all the other kills. So good fight for Liquid.
Well, we'll see what Mineski's next move is going to be. They've got these ultimates down. Theoretically, they should want to go fight. Well, Haunt, Global are on cooldown, but it's actually Liquid who are baiting their Necrophos. Very good hero to have in the front line. Immediate swap coming in on Jabs. It's going to pop the heal though, and he's pretty damn tanky with this one. Mushi kind of slightly cooldown, but
off target.
Getting the Avatos, once more. GH in the front lines, I think realizes he's in a bit of trouble, but actually going to be okay here as Jabs just didn't quite have the impetus damage. Arrow, ooh, barely misses Matu coming in from the side there. Moon hit that one, may have been able to follow that one up, but...
And I think the reason that Mineski is playing a little careful right here is because they took this advantage and they maybe turned it into the wrong items perhaps. Ice opted for a Midas, which kind of reminds me of the last time I saw him do this. It felt he had a really good early game, and then they got kind of in the mid game and it felt a little weak. Maybe able to get a Matumba kill here. There's the enchant fall off.
So crossbite into Arrow. Ooh, that Reaper almost bringing down the Tiny. He barely gets away. They did throw the Global out here, so Mineski can just retreat back off and disengage, but there's a long range swap pulling Jabs back in. He's still taking damage over time. The right clicks should be enough. Yep, he goes down, as does Mushi. In deep was GH to help make sure they could get that kill, and Liquid are just outplaying Mineski right now, it feels like, more than anything. And while this is going on, Spectre's just farming.
Yeah, the Liquid's doing a great job kind of presenting these options for Mineski initiated on, but they're always there to back up their heroes, and at this point they have all the items they need. Matumba Man's got his double hat here, so he's really survivable. Wraith King can't really initiate because all he has is a Midas, and yes, it's going to give him golden experience, but now all of a sudden they've lost all this tempo because of the Global Silence team fights. If Liquid can take this tier 2 mid as well, it's going to make it a lot harder for Mineski to move around the map and find engagements.
Yep. They're just playing very well around the fact that this Necro is strong. He's just, you know, he's sitting out in front, baiting and saying, come on me guys, I'm a Necro, you're not going to kill me, and I've got these heroes behind me. So even if you go on me, there's a swap save. If needed, there's plenty of backup for him, and hey, even if we lose a hero or two, Spectre's farming. And Spectre has suddenly Hood and Yasha, level 13 as well. This is a hero that gets quite strong just by having all of his spells maxed out, because it just gives you that full dispersion damage as well as Desolate, and suddenly you're quite impactful in the team fight.
Yeah, he's even opting for more Desolate damage from his talent tree too, so he's just all about dealing damage with his team. The squishy heroes on the Liquid side are all getting tanky. Silencer's picked up a Treads and double Bracer, because he knows if I max my raw HP and my enemy Tiny goes for a Blink Dagger, then that means I'm more likely to survive the one-shot combo, and if you can, it completely changes the team fights. So now all those early opportunities that Mineski has have kind of fallen away. Radiant does put a scan on the map, and they're going to spot Mineski's rotation as well, so we'll see if they make a play around this.
Well, Mineski get anything done moving through the top side of that smoked up. It doesn't look like they're going to find anyone because of Wood's just general read of the game here, and now
they got wards down at least, that'll help. But although one of them should be dewarded here, in fact it's already spotted.
It's going to reveal the fact they, yeah, the creep wave would have seen it, so it reveals exactly where they were.
So they got to get there in the next 30 seconds to see if they make it over. But yeah, they'll move as a team. A little scared that the enemy team might be lined up, but at least it should be obvious. Ice isn't there. He's in the mid lane, and he does have a good item coming. He's almost about at Relic Gold, and this is a super solid timing, I would say, for Wraith King to have this.
Didn't opt for the Blade Mail he initially had queued up, but that seems okay for this game.
Yep.
I think he may even go back for it after like a Radiance Blink Dagger. It's just always such a good item to have on a Wraith King who's frontlining, but
I think it's the right way to go if he goes Midas. Like if he goes Midas into a Blink or something, it feels like if that was the case, he should just gotten Blink first, because it would have helped them win some of those mid-game team fights where things got bad. Bounty Rune's coming up here, so we'll see if Ice can test this one a little. Yeah, he is.
Could want to fight this one. They're going to throw out the global, silencing Matu on the front lines, being bailed out a bit by that one.
And I think Ice actually kind of started to him, but ultimately that was really good for Mineski. One extra death for a global silence, absolutely worth it. And they did use Moonlight Shadow as well. I guess you could argue is a bit of a loss, but considering the way that Ice did that, he goes to stun the hero at the same time that Bounty Runes are up. A lot of teams are doing these 3-man rotations to prep for these team fights, and Mineski actually didn't even have to fully commit there, and they still got a lot of Bounty Runes.
Yeah, they got 3 out of the 4, and they find themselves able to make a move once they get this Radiance while Global is still down. Ice being nice and close to it. Doesn't need to find a target to use his Midas on.
I know, that's hurting me. I gotta look away.
Yeah, I guess these neutrals are actually dead, and even if you go further down, they're also dead. He needs just a lane creep, but there's 3 liquid heroes here, so
yeah, somebody must have killed him. So
doesn't want to risk his life.
Probably to turn into gold. He should though.
Yeah, now those neutrals have respawned.
So other core we haven't taken a look at is Moon. He's got a Maelstrom with a Treads, and going pretty typical in terms of talents and stuff like that. BKB afterwards is going to allow him to just kind of hit the backline and do a lot of damage, but usually there's this definitely a little bit of a slow period in the mid game until Rana gets from like item 1 to item 3, where she's good but not the craziest carry. But we'll definitely see some impact in the late game.
It's Prophet just using the ultimate to push out some lanes here, as Mushi will take the mid tier 1. Back down at bottom, Matu doing damage to the tier 1 of Mineski, and likely will turn this into a tower for tower trade. Mineski pretty happy with this. The mid tier 1 tower a bit more important, especially for playing around Roshan, and they don't seem to care too much about this bottom side of the map.
At least not until they get their stuff online. So Radiance shortly up, Global Silence is on cooldown as well. I guess the best benefit, it feels like, of forcing that out is it did force Liquid to be kind of slow with the way they pushed that. They didn't go for a let's dive and engage them. It was more of a we'll just kind of passively hit the tower, and Mineski did the right things to make that slightly delayed while still getting a lot of items on their side. So that'll provided them some cover to now finish the Radiance, and never mind, here comes the swap, and this should be Wraith King's first death. Yep, okay.
We'll get him, but I don't know about the second kill here. We'll see if they've got the tools to do this. He does use the Quelling Blade, but he's still trapped in the Sprout here. Matu, who has a refit, and damage coming up. It looks like it. Miracle comes in with the horn as well to make sure they can take this fight. He's looking for more. Ninja Boogie does end up getting dusted up here. Miracle Manta out of the Frostbite. Easy kill into the Crystal Maiden as they set themselves up to take a tier 2 tower.
That was really well executed. Reaper's Sight at the perfect time. He does get the Radiance recipe buyout at least, but that's definitely one of the most dangerous things about Bench is you get so out of position with Swap that if you don't see it coming, it's going to be a bad time. So tier 2 and maybe they go high ground as well. I mean, they're going to go back and defend because Tiny's taking the tier 2. So good for Mineski at least. They did a great job with their 2 cores. They're already in position. If somebody got ganked, the other 2 were going to be able to push really rapidly, and the 2 that didn't get ganked are the ones that can push the best.
I think definitely I like the strategy behind it, but you don't want to lose your Wraith King at the same time, and that's where I think Liquid, considering they're the ones with the Spectre, they're the ones that are scaling well, are going to be like, well, we just killed their Wraith King while Spectre got involved in 2 kills, and we took a tower. Like, anything that drags the game out and keeps it even is going to favor the team with Spectre right now.
Yeah, that's true. So looks like Mineski is going to maybe try to contest Rush, but it is so gone.
Yeah, Medallion plus Wave of Terror.
And he maxed out his passive too, so bonus damage to everybody up to 30%.
Right clicks starting to add up as Spectre, no Radiance queued up anytime soon, has a Manta into Diffusal. More common build we've been seeing, at least the Manta part of this, the Radiance just being prioritized later and later in the game, and it seems to become an item that you can always go back for. There's no rush to get it like there was maybe in the past.
But I do really like his itemization in this game. I mean, you saw it when he went on the Crystal Maiden. CM turns, drops Frostbite, he instantly mantas to remove it, and then there's not really much holding him back from getting those kills. And the purpose of the Diffusal is he's already got Manta. It's not that uncommon of a spec item, definitely not prioritized, but against a Wraith King, until he hits 20, he can be mana burned, and they can kill him without his ulti going off, which is a huge advantage. So a little scary for Ice in the next 10 minutes or so, depending on what this Diffusal timing is. Still got about 2,000 gold to go to finish it though.
Quite smoking up, looking to take a team fight. They're a little bit maybe too early. The Haunt is 15 seconds away, and actually Miracle's going to TP in. I think recognizing that his team may find a fight right away, and they sure as hell are. They're going to go right in on Ice, who does have reincarnation, but he's being swapped out of position. Something you talked about, Kuro with the global silence gets arrowed though before he can use it. They can kill him quickly, that'd be huge for them, and it looks like they'll succeed. So no global for this fight. The Reaper comes out. They don't get the Reaper kill on the Wraith King, but he still goes down nonetheless, and it's Mind Control kicking out 2. Moon's BKB, he's trapped. The Sprout block, what a play from Nature's Prophet, blocking him on the low ground. He couldn't get out, he had no lead charges left, and Mushi in trouble as well. Should be finished off. Miracle getting the kill in it all as they go hunting for more jabs. Can't get out of the Sprout. 1 or 2 more right clicks. Miracle,
huge place,
gets the full team wipe.
And that was the first item pickup from Nature's Prophet as well, rushing a Silver Edge after his Drum of Endurance, and it pays off there. They break off the Untouchable for Enchantress, and they're able to get the kill. And it just seems like they have the right heroes. The Necro has actually been working quite well against the Wraith King. They swap him way out of position, and at that point he's committed, and because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger yet, he can't blink to escape. And then they just do a little bit more damage, and the Reaper's Sight makes his second life feel so worthless.
And that's the really nice thing, is that they can kill him so easily on his first life. Wraith King, he's got 2.2k health, but this Midas Radiance, you're just not that survivable. The Blade Mail doesn't make you that much tankier, but it does kind of deter them from maybe going on you. He's only got that queued up now. The Blink Dagger also, often allows you reincarnate, you can then blink away if you get caught out. So, just going for this more offensive build has not paid off at all for Ice.
Yes, at this point it definitely feels a lot like a mistake. They've lost so much opportunity to provide tempo here. They might catch Matoma Man top at least.
Got Spirit Vessel charges to reduce the heal, but hey, there's still a global silence. Moon goes in with the BKB though. Tries to leap in and finish off Martu, who does have the Ghost Shroud Death Pulse heals. They're going to immediately kill the Crystal Man. They do end up finishing off the Necrophos, but Spectre's in here just cleaning up, takes down the Wraith King with the help of the Diffusal Blade. Didn't have reincarnation anyways. Mind Control dusted up. That does allow Moon to get the kill on him, but Moon out of link charges once again in some trouble. Ninja will be getting like 2-shotted by Miracle, who's got a double damage on Spectre. Wants some more, wants Mushi, but can't quite get it because Mushi has actually salvaged this fight with the help of jabs. These 2 heroes holding their own, but Miracle, he's a little bit stronger. He's got the Aegis, the Spirit Vessel's going to take him down low. Mushi just a little deal deal with him. Toss him, do something. Get rid of that damn Spectre. He will respawn with the Aegis. Mushi, does he go for another kill? He's going to avalanche and just blink away, it looks like. Dagger's going to chase him down, though. Miracle, I think, is going to dive this one. You can't disjoint that with the blink dagger, and Miracle's going in for the fountain. He's got the diffusal play. Where's the buyback? Somebody help Mushi out. He's too late. He's already dead. Moon even bought back for it. Miracle knew, and Mushi did not, apparently. You got to get out. He shouldn't have stuck around. He needed to blink away sooner.
Or needed to stick closer to the creep wave. That way you could at least try to toss Miracle back. I mean, Miracle's going to still outsmart him a bit with that most likely pop Manta at the right time to perhaps toss the wrong illusion or something. But yeah, Mineski just on the back foot in that team fight. They kind of had to go for an engagement, but once again, Global Silence was everything here.
Yeah, we'll take another look at this one here. They commit so much on the Necrophos, who does die, but when it takes that long to kill him, and because of the Global Silence, it just let the rest of Liquid swoop on in. Full HP Spectre with double damage. Miracle was just unstoppable here.
And the other core spent all this time going for mind control. Ultimately works out, but eventually it's still a Spectre with an Aegis, and he's going to kill the rest of your team.
Seeker on the backlines did get kind of sniped by the Enchantress there, and it's 4 kills going Mineski's way, which on paper isn't terrible, but the context of a Spectre being the lone survivor who completely cleans up and wipes Mineski, I don't think you're too happy.
Yeah, absolutely not. I kind of feel like the Fast Spirit Festival rush from Enchantress was a bit weak, perhaps. Maybe he should have gone more right-click heavy, like Dragonlance or something. Oh, instant kill. What a grab.
2 minutes, he just fought back as well. Kevin, this does not bode well for Mineski.
Yeah, not at all.
A dieback with a Reaper kill is, you know, you pull that Facebook time. That's when you tab out, you get on Facebook, and you go do something else because you're not playing Dota for the next couple of minutes here. Spectre, Miracle, he is playing Dota. He's haunting around, he's juking them, he's making all the plays here. Takes out the Wraith King's first light. Didn't quite burn enough mana here as there were mangoes on the Wraith King as well, but he will easily kill him a second time. And Liquid on the high ground, they're going to look to focus down the tier 3 tower now. And chances to heal up Miracle, getting back at fighting shape.
Man, it is not just Necro being effective against Wraith King, it's also the Vengeful Spirit. The fact that he doesn't have any armor items, and he has to deal with Wave of Terror and a Medallion. Even right-clicks kill this guy so fast.
That's where, yeah, the itemization is maybe just being not quite what Mineski needed. Even 3,000 gold on Ice 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 that hasn't been spent. Just seems there's this level of uncertainty about what to do. And Mineski go down. Game 1 going Liquid's way.
Man, Liquid is so good at Dota. That looked like one of those ultra stomp games where the laning stage was a massive deficit, but they just pushed it. And
man, Liquid is so good at Dota. That looked like one of those ultra stomp games where the laning stage was a massive deficit, but they just pushed it and pushed it. It's like they were losing and they still took good team fights. Like, how do you do that? It's so hard. We rarely see it from teams, but Liquid is able to do it from the start.
Always pull it back. That just knows how to execute and play the mid.
So fun to watch because of you never get this feeling they're out. No matter how far behind they can get early on, they're a team that can always pull it back. That just knows how to execute and play the mid to late games so flawlessly. Can team fight so well. They definitely had the lineup for it as well, which was part of it. But at the same time, you have to execute and play them.
And they definitely did. Great itemization. I think their draft seemed to really cover what they needed. They had the right heroes, and Mineski taking this great advantage, but they kind of dropped a little bit, taking some bad fights, buying maybe the wrong items, and just getting completely outplayed at some stage.
Yeah, considering the great early game start, you would have expected, a Tiny to snowball a bit better. Ice, 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 he got such a fast Midas, but just, he couldn't snowball as well. But across the board, it wasn't like any one player let anyone down. It was the team as a whole, because no one stepped up and they didn't really coordinate as well as Liquid did.
And I really feel like Curse of the Silent was a big game changer. Like Curse of the Silent and Global Silence, it just gets them in this team fight and they're all like, we all need to cast spells. We're all very spell-oriented heroes. They have to cast lots of spells, they have to cast multiple cooldowns, and it just constantly provided this damage and movement threat that allowed the team Liquid to win fights. And great itemization across the board, and yeah, they take the win for game 1.
Nicely done by Liquid. We'll see if Mineski can bounce back because they need some wins here. Their group stage is in a pretty shaky place. Not really in danger of being eliminated, but getting into the winner bracket looks to be a hard feat for Mineski should they not start winning some games. So we're going to take a break and come back with game number 2. Liquid versus Mineski. Don't go anywhere.
Team
Back now
Liquid's
for
turn
game
to
number
pick.
2 of Mineski versus Team Liquid. Purge, pretty good game number 1. Mineski, though, not their best showing. Liquid, though, solid stuff. Good way to open the day. They're kind of looking to solidify their top 4 spot here.
Yeah, I think that game was
3波葫芦娃救爷爷，导致自己的这个对线期积攒下来的优势全部都拱手让回给了液体。基
sometimes where it goes such a big swing, like lane advantage to us, the game will just over because it helps you figure out some little small piece of Dota. And I think the most obvious
Mineski's turn to pick.
Game doesn't stagnate, and then Liquid doesn't get to barrel roll into advantage.
Yeah, the kind of loss where maybe you feel like, you know, we are still on par with Liquid if we play better. Like, we obviously playing better, but like, we matched them in the early game, we were better than them, we can actually beat this team. So maybe some confidence be taken away from game number 1. Yep. Game number 2 draft is going to be beginning now, though. We'll hop into that one. And some adjustments here. Wraith King X getting banned out, but other than that, it looks fairly similar in terms of the bans.
And I think the other important thing to remember sometimes is that even though Mineski did do super well in the laning stage, that you have to remember that maybe Liquid kind of anticipated that. I think a lot of times when I watch pro games, I kind of say that, oh man, Sumail got super dumpstered on Storm Spirit against the Monkey King. Well, surely this is going to be EG losing the game, but sometimes they realize, like, you know, this is going to be a bad matchup, but I'm going to AFK jungle, and I'm going to come out in 30 minutes, and I'm still going to have more farm. It's kind of like the TA mentality a lot of the times. Do okay in lane, jungle like crazy, and then you have the top net worth, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, these teams picking Spectre particularly are probably in the mindset, you know, we probably will have rough lanes. At least, you know, 2 out of our 3 lanes could be losing, could be unfavorable, but that's okay. We have a Spectre. We're going to have this comeback hero. And it's even less greedy of a comeback hero than the past because you don't have to wait for this Radiance. You just have to wait to get some levels and, you know, an item or 2, a hood, and a Yasha, and suddenly you can fight, and suddenly you can do stuff. They had all their ultimates, and suddenly Liquid looked way scarier than in the laning stage when, you know, they're just, you know, having these constant little smaller skirmishes. That doesn't really suit Liquid's draft.
And I felt like the Silencer did a lot of work too. Not just necessarily because of all the spells that their opponents want to cast it, but they just fought so often that they just kept burning resources on their enemies, and it could be something like enchant.
The Silencer did a lot of work too. Not just necessarily because of all the spells that their opponents want to cast it, but they just fought so often things were a little bit dangerous.
As much offensively, so there's lots of little things like that that Liquid are doing that are forcing their opponent to burn these resources that they maybe want to use a little later. So even if they are on the back foot, man, Liquid looks like a fantastic team.
Yep. Well, this time around it's going to be Liquid handling the Enchantress. They pick it up in the first 2 in response to Necrophos, so getting that Dispel versus Ghost Shroud, and also just generally speaking, a strong hero. I think scarier in the core role, but still playable as a support. We saw Jabs do it here. We've seen Notel do it as a 5 position for OG as well. So kind of flexible, which is always a nice thing as well.
Yeah, it definitely felt good. Like I said in the last game, I think the Spirit Vessel Rush was a little bit wrong. As an item, it works better later usually, and like countering the Necro Heal was kind of cool, but I'm not sure if they needed it.
And we never really saw it. When he picked it up, he actually had 0 charges for like the next 7 or 8 minutes of the game. That was when Mineski lost like fight after fight, and it was like, oh well, these Spirit Vessel charges, where are they? And other items, you know, could have done maybe a bit more for him.
Yeah, that's always painful. Maybe if he had like treads, or maybe a fast drum for his team to give them better mobility, perhaps, or a drum is pretty darn good on Enchantress Rush, I would argue, because all the attack speed burst is really what you need, and it gives you strength in it anyways, mana regen, something like that perhaps. Or
I think the Vessel's always tempting, because Enchantress has kind of a squishy hero to burst damage, and it gives you health, gives you a bit of movement speed, so it's not even, just the upgrade on the urn to the super urn is nice, but you get nice stats to go with it.
Yeah, and the stats aren't really efficient though, but like your bonus is
for what you pay,
You're barely getting an upgrade. I like the Vit booster, but I just feel like it could have been a Treads or something. Shadow Shaman as a pick is also very effective. Mineski, I don't know if I've seen too much Shadow Shaman on them yet, but definitely been seeing it across other games too.
Yep. GH going to be playing Earth Spirit this game. We've seen, say, 2 or 3 Earth Spirits, at least on some of our games, and appearing around some of the other ones going on. And we'll see how he fares here. It seems there's been maybe a slight shift into a meta where some roamers work a bit better than what people were maybe expecting. Shaker and Earth Spirit, both more of the roaming style 4 positions, less the let's fight and do these strong dual lane kind of 4 positions.
Yeah, I mean, the right fissure at the right time will help you win a mid lane, and I guess if you have a strong core to pair with the Earthshaker like a Necrophos, it completely offsets it. So even though your laning is maybe not as good, as long as Necro has first couple easy waves and he becomes a solo guy, and then the roaming is okay. So it's very much about what core you pair it with, and I think players have definitely started to really understand what the meta is, more or less, like what kind of heroes are you going to see, and they know that right now Necro is pretty solidified as a safe hero and as a core.
Shaman, this hero feels like a hero that can struggle a lot against Enchantress to me.
I could see that. I mean, you have a lot of damage, but he has attack speed.
Yeah, like your damage is just kind of negated by the fact Enchantress at one point untouchable, and like Shaman's going to struggle to hit. You're also outranged. But level 1, Aftershock spam has been heavily nerfed as well on the hero.
But in the same vein, Shadow Shaman is going to have so much disable that Enchantress's high movement speed isn't as good. So I would say it's kind of a back and forth thing. And then if you pair it with a carry like Phantom Assassin, that hero's actually really good against Enchantress, because it doesn't matter that she reduces your attack speed. Your Blink Strike gives you 100% attack speed for 4 hits, so it can kind of offset her many skill points in the early levels. You pick up a little bit of minus armor, maybe like an Aquila or a Phase with that, or a Treads with that, and then Enchant doesn't start feeling as scary, especially if Shadow Shaman gets a drop on her before her heal comes out.
It's our first PA pick of TI8.
So still missing a good variety of heroes. Looks like 16, now 15 heroes that haven't been picked yet at TI. And I kind of expected to see her squeeze in eventually. I mean, she was played a decent amount during the qualifiers, EU at least. A lot of that was Magnus picks, kind of making her better. But against an Enchantress, I could definitely see her being a decent hero, and maybe against Venge as well. Swap her out of position, she can always blink away defensively, perhaps, back to her team.
It's crazy we haven't seen any Queen of Pain. That is a hero I would have just expected to see.
Mineski.
Maybe her lane's too obvious, and she's not as flexible in laning, and she always kind of goes mid, she doesn't have stuns. There's just better heroes, it feels like, that solidify games, like Storm. Storm's kind of taken her role, basically.
Yeah,
for her kind of play style of how she normally plays in Snowball stuff. Pugna, the pick for Liquid, I really like this one. Keeps the green lineup going, and obviously against a PA, a very strong pick. Lots of magic damage. You can decrep the PA herself. You can decrep yourself to get some survivability. A great solid snag here, and another ward as well against Necrophos, Shadow Shaman, or Earthshaker. Sounds good.
Yeah, having a decrep against some of the physical damage could be very useful, and this time around, Liquid's approach seems quite different. Last time it was like, these lanes are not going to go great, but we have this recovery through our big team fight, like Game Spectre. This time you've got Pugna, Ench, Roaming, Earth Spirit, Venge. Like, all 4 of these heroes look very scary. The scary green men who are going to be messing up all of your lanes. And on the other side, it's Shaman, PA, Earthshaker. These are not lane dominators by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reason they went for a Pugna here. Very good at pushing towers, obviously, but if they can do like a dual lane, off lane Pugna, that's a great way to abuse PA. Like, PA can jump on them, but if they have any resemblance of lane advantage, PA is kind of zoned. Like, that hero is quite crappy pre-6. And even once she hits 6, it's very dependent on how many items you have over your opponents. So if they get a decent lane in any way, Pugna is going to be able to abuse the PA and kind of force her out of lane. So this is a little scary for Mineski, considering that the other supports they have with it could also have issues.
See what the last hero is going to be. Could be a nice size hero depending where the Necro's going, or it could be something for Moon for the mid lane, and theoretically PA could even go mid if they want to pick a different safe laner, but
it'd be fairly safe. Like, you can last hit fine, you're not as pressurable. I could see mid PA, but it depends on the matchup, of course.
Yeah, and you do a final last pick of the draft, so I guess you'll get a pretty good idea as far as what the lanes are going to be. You already have a pretty good idea at this stage already, I'd say. Well, maybe not. I guess Venge could be a farming core at this point. Don't even know. Earth Spirit, is a 4. The question is the Enchantress a support played by Kuro, or is the Venge the support?
I guess I would say that at this point, putting Enchantress off lane doesn't sound good, because you always want your core hero in that lane, assuming they're going to stick around for more than 5 or 6 minutes. You want them to be able to, even if their supports leave, to still dominate that lane. And if supports leave and it's Enchantress versus PA, until there's 6 on Enchant, you don't really super win that. So I'd prefer that they have Pugna in whatever lane PA is, and that's your matchup that you want, because if he goes for last hit, you decrep him and blast him, he takes way too much damage. So Weaver would also work there. You can just Sakuchi to dodge PA, you're definitely more mobile, but if they get on top of you, Weaver's also a little dangerous. So Mineski can get some ground here if they do some like Shadow Shaman disables into PA jumps and get some Weaver kills.
This game looks pretty scary for Mineski's early game. If they can get some good farm and levels on some of these heroes, it could change. But even like heroes like Necros, you get some good farm and levels, it feels like you've been heavily countered. The enchant, being able to dispel Ghost Shroud, and Pugna probably one of the best counters to Necro in the game. Something that I feel like early on in the tournament, whenever anyone was picking Necro, they were making sure Pugna was banned out because it is just kind of a direct hard counter in most ways.
Keep him out of position. Anytime he throws a nuke, he takes far more damage.
Yeah.
Way to go. But I still don't know which way their cores are going to go. I could see Avenge Core laning okay against a PA, just lots of nuke damage. Nuker, it's the way to beat her.
Choose your
Back for the Tiny.
Okay, so not unexpected.
Here that's, going to have a good lane, you got to imagine, or at least a decent lane. It will be an Edge Core, so it's like Pugna is going to go mid lane, presumably, but Liquid is a team who's mixed up the lanes from time to time. Some teams have run mid-ench, but I don't think that is going to be the call.
Yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't be able to abuse. The hero's good because of nature's attendance abuse, so you got to put that in a side lane so you can trade hits more and chase people down, use your movements. So probably going to be Pugna mid, but kind of depends on the Mineski lineup. Tiny in this game, how does he fit in here? He's got lots of burst, I guess, so it's good against Weaver and Enchant Pugna, kind of, but lane-wise maybe hard because it's all range hero.
Yeah, I guess the idea is you're reversing a lot of very squishy heroes. All 3 enemy cores
5 seconds remaining.
theoretically could be blown up by a combo. At some point they're going to get enough items where they get a lot scarier and tankier. But early on when you first get that Blink Dagger or Shadow Blade, you can go around and use those combos to initiate and quickly bring down Ench, Pugna, or Weaver.
So if Tiny has a good game this game, different player this time, but if he has a good game, we could certainly see that Blink Dagger pay off in a big way. But can they win the lanes as hard as they did last game? And looking at the heroes that Liquid has, it doesn't feel like that off of what I'm seeing. It just feels like Liquid has much stronger laners. Very cool done based on Mineski too.
To me, this is going to be like a reversal where Mineski are the ones playing from behind, but unlike Liquid, they don't have that amazing team fight necessarily to pull them back into it. We'll see though. This is Dota, crazy things can happen, small little details or lane matchups that just aren't quite what you want. Could quickly see things swing other ways. By no means do I think this is like a heavy outdraft by Liquid at all. Their whole draft looks very, very squishy, so if they make a few missteps in lane, they're going to very easily feed away some kills.
Yeah, and it could even without Earthshaker having a Blink Dagger, he's still going to be useful. Fissures into other people doing burst damage is also a big danger.
If you missteps in lane, they're going to very easily feed away some kills.
Yeah, and it could even without Earthshaker having a Blink Dagger, he's still going to be useful. Fissures into other people doing burst damage is also a big danger. So if any of the cores do really well on the Fnatic side, or I'm sorry, the Mineski side, that could be a lot for them setting up these solo kills.
Get it
out of your system. Yeah. That was pretty good though. It was it's four in a row. Not bad.
There's like a
So
10-second window
here we have it. Early smoke move out coming from Mineski. Jabs leading the way. Looking to get down some early deep wards, and ideally, of course, find an early first blood.
Gonna be hard against the Weaver though.
We have it.
Yes.
Very mobile hero, can go invisible. They popped the smoke a moment ago, so they're going to be invisible.
They're going to run right into Miracle here. They have got a long-range fissure. Oh, the Shackle! Oh, that is perfect. Fissure. Okay, a little bit too late. Jabs making a mistake there.
Are they going to get that kill either way, though?
They could fissure. It would have been a lot closer. I don't know if they would, because level 1 fissure is 1 second stun duration. Would have been a lot more right clicks.
And I mean, they'd already used everything. Death Pulse is 8-second cooldown. They had Tree Grab on Moon because he needed it for last sitting. Just, if they've Avalanche there, yeah, they can probably get a solo kill, or they can kill him with First Blood, but it's not worth ruining your laning stage for that.
Is this going to be the first blood? He does start, or immediately turn around to run back to his tier 2 tower, but he looks done for here. He's being body blocked perfectly by GH, and there's no Avalanche, so First Blood was so close for Mineski, but it ends up going the way of Liquid's GH.
So only benefit there for Mineski is at least it forced them to take Enchant on Enchantress, but considering that PA as a hero needs to do well in the laning stage to be a threat at all, or it has to be pressured, I mean, this is a great start for them.
That was just so clever too. They were waiting on that hill as bounty runes were spawning. They weren't even at the bounty rune locations. They were just like camping the hill, knowing Mushi was going to run up that way. And then after they get the kill, they walk back to pick the bounties up.
And Ninja Boogie's also got Shackles, which doesn't do nearly as much damage as it used to, so laning stage may be very different.
Everyone getting these odd level 1 spells. You can see what the lanes look to be there. Pugna versus Tiny mid. Pugna going for the level 1 decrypt just to try and mess with the Tiny last hit.
Did you see what
common stuff?
Did you see what Moon did though? So he gets decrypt, but then he just throws his tree.
Ah.
The tree's not decrypt, the hero is decrypt, you know?
Okay.
So he still gets the last hit, so at least it'll cost him the rest of his trees, but...
Down bottom, getting low. We'll have a salve here, but good early harass coming out from jabs. The Necro's help. It was Tiny the counter to Pugna. This decrypt, then you just throw trees and you don't care about the decrypt. Rolling top. Ninja Boogie has been going on. It's caught by the slow. GH is the Orb of Venom slow. This may just be a kill here. Mind Control had the enchant as well. 1 or 2 more right clicks. Shaman, this is why Shaman isn't seeing too much play. He is so bad when he gets bullied in lane. He loves the 2v1s, but anytime that 2v1 is at even 2v2, he is not happy.
And I wouldn't even call this an even one. I mean, they got first blood. They have a second kill now. It's an Orb of Venom on Earth Spirit with a guy that's got high HP. Like, they're just gonna chase him down here. Mushi does dodge the boulder, the rolling boulder at least, but every time they run at him, he's got to run so far away, and he's not going to trade well back.
And yeah, and even in this top lane Ninja Boogie, you're talking about pairing him with a PA versus, an Enchantress. The core matchup is a hero that's just going to harass and be much stronger in lane, at least until PA gets some more levels in the dagger, so very hard stuff. Mineski to play this top lane. CS-wise though, it's still looking okay for them. The cores aren't having too much of a bad time in lane, so by no means a one-sided affair.
Rolled on the top, get top. Enchant into rolling boulder.
Blink escape, yep. Ninja Boogie comes on over to give him a blink target, so he gets out okay. Back in bottom lane, Necrophos and Weaver playing very aggressive down this bottom lane. Going for the side chop here, he may pay the price here. Luckily there's a Fissure to save him, but there's going to be a Gemini attack it looks like. No, actually just a normal attack. He had a salve. If he got into the trees and survived that right click, he would have been able to salve up and turn it around.
Very, very close to surviving there.
Yep.
Big loss getting killed. But on the bright side, at least Miracle's pretty zone. Another salve being used, and again, a rolling boulder on Mushi.
GH is playing ultra aggressive. He is having the time of his life. Has the salve here. And he wants more. They're probably going to get Ninja Boogie as well. It looks like Ninja Boogie does have Tangos and salve himself. There's going to be a roll in a few seconds. And I believe with Mushi's TP, that's actually just going to deter them from chasing too much further. He rolls away. GH says, enough's enough for now.
This is a pretty catastrophic lane for Mineski so far. They can't feel good about this one. They're just, the Shackles is just not accomplishing anything here. I don't know if his nuke would help that much more, but having a tough time in this lane. Just getting super outzoned.
Now GH has boot, so if he ever hits a roll in the Shaman, it's just, he can straight up solo kill him.
He's got more than boost. He's got 275 on top of that. Yes, so far here. Mushi getting nuked again, looking for the blink strike.
Just keep spamming it. He needs to probably blink away, or at least make a run for the tower. Yep, blinks away. Every time he's going in for this farm now, he's got 12 CS, which is decent, but not amazing. Fissure block mid. Matsu doesn't actually get stunned by this one. He just gets blocked off. Moon balls off with an Abatos and will find the kill. So nice block from Jabs, even if he doesn't hit the stun. Back at top though, Ninja Boogie once again. We've seen this story before, and Mineski are just coming to hate this story. They go down once again. Their biggest nightmare is this top lane.
And even though he can still get last hits with Dagger, all it's doing is feeling mana for the enemy heroes because they both have magic sticks. So any ground that they're getting here is just feeling like an uphill battle.
Yeah, Enchantress hasn't even had to skill up the Nature's Attendant. That's how well this lane has gone. Just going for 2 and untouchable. Now gets at level 4. Back at bottom, Miracle. Playing fine line here. Has some tangos here. Has a bottle queued up as well. Probably love to be able to farm that before the 5-minute mark to refill on bounty rings. Back at top. GH though finds 3 heroes. He gets the boulder smash as the shackles come out, so he immediately cancels it. Oh my, oh my. Nothing's going Mineski's way. It was a fantastic play.
I mean, I don't know if they get that kill either way. GH still had a lot of HP, and it's like hero's not right-clicking, but...
Size. Trying to bait in Miracle. He needs to be careful. He's got Fairy Fire. He's actually the one baiting, and Miracle and Kura get the kill. Didn't even need to use the Fairy Fire. Perfectly played. It's back at top though. Action doesn't stop. Mushi, full retreat here. The fissure block gonna help bail him out and save his life.
Oh, they got bounties out of this though. Can Jabs get it? He's got boots himself.
They're trying to save the bounties so Miracle can bottle them down bottom, it looks like. Okay, he's just going to pick it up. Let's say it looked like he wanted to buy the bottle, use charges, and then refill it, which is always a very useful thing if you to do if you can get that like 5-minute bottle.
Yeah, I think he could have saved the one across his river at least. I don't blame Kuro for grabbing one, worried about enemies, but
he didn't have the money for the bottle then though. It was like by picking it up he had enough money. Maybe if he had a bit more gold.
At least they get lots of bounties on Mineski's side, and they actually are about 1k behind, which is not an insignificant amount. Top tower being pressured, they steal the first catapult too, so very reminiscent of last game.
Classic ENG things. I feel like every ENG game we're seeing this, 5 minutes you usually take or at least severely damage a tier 1.
And he's just tanking the creep wave too. He's got 2 points and untouchable, so the amount of money he's taking from this creep wave is almost nothing. Yep. Tower's dead.
And 6 charges too to play around with, so Matu looking for a bottle. Bounty rune, or any rune, sorry, not bounty rune. It's going to get caught out as he gets Avatos, still alive though, had some 6 charges to play around with, and it's going to get turned around on Jabs, who gets brought down by GH. Moon trying to chase GH, does hit him and needs to throw the tree. Gets the kill, actually going with the way of Mushi here, so Kuro instead going to get chased down now as well. It looks like the stifling daggers from Mushi. It's a roaming PA, and well, that's going to roam and get you a couple of kills here. It looks like Mushi would love to get the last hits on these, and he does. Gets a double kill. GH's roll in comes a little bit too late, and he may be a third. GH had a great start, but he may have just rolled into his death. Hits the 3-man stun, still alive, but now Pugna from the low ground, draining Ninja Boogie, but can't quite bring him down. Triple kill for Mushi. Miracle shows up, has the Beatles here, throws him out, doesn't catch Mushi with him, but catches Ninja Boogie, who has to clear it. And unfortunately for Ninja Boogie, he does not have a TP, so he will be Shikuchi'd on after. Needs to find some trees to juke with, doesn't have any. And double kill for Miracle as he rotates on in.
Man, felt like an amazing little trade there for Mushi getting a triple kill as PA, but yeah, the cleanup kills were huge for Miracle on the back line, so kind of both carries getting a lot out of that. Yep. But he does get an Aqua at least. It's all about damage increase for PA, so this is a good start for him.
She getting pressured the second he goes up top. Miracle follows him, so a bit of a lane swap from the Liquid cores. They send Enchantress down bottom. Actually managed to, well, initially steal a siege creep, but tanked a future main tower shot, so it will get taken out, so it won't be able to pressure the tower all too much. But perhaps just wanting this ENG in the lane where the Necro is, since you can purge off that Ghost Shroud if you want to go for a kill.
So the supports do spot each other a little bit. Ninja wanting to maybe get a kill on this Weaver, but with the Venge here, there's no way they're going to try this with Mushi at half health. It's got 1 sticks, 1 hunters at least. Snagging Weaver kills is tough here with how many items he has.
Roll in bottom lane. Baldur's managed to follow it up. Necroboss could be in some trouble here. Getting chunked away at by mind control, but doesn't quite have the damage to finish off the kill initially. And Moon, he's here in Vision's Evade. They get the Avatar for the Reaper. Perfectly played by Mineski. Nice ice, just tempting just enough for mind control to come on in.
Great play by Moon as well, popping the Invis, starting your TP immediately afterwards during the Fade time, and you get that easy initiation. Those are the kind of runes that really change the game in a big way.
Toss in mid. They're going to throw the Shaker in, looking for Matu, but didn't get the insta totem stun, and it's actually Matu who turns around and does much more damage on the Jabs.
You saw it coming. It's daytime. They've got an Observer Ward as well, so it was pretty clear. And enough toss into stun stuff that's happened last couple games of this tournament that they were onto that.
Miracle back up top, just continuing the pressure, starting to damage this tier 2 tower as the glyph does come out on the dire side. Really early on, Miracle may just be able to help take down this tier 2 tower. Playing behind it, as Mineski need to bring up more heroes if they want to defend this tier 2. Needs to be a little bit careful. There's a lot of Mineski heroes rotating on up here. Avalanche coming out from the Tiny, going to catch up Kuro, finish to pull it up. Moon doing good damage here. Both supports on Liquid could be in some trouble here. Mineski finding some kills potentially. The Stifling Dagger will take out the Venge here. Mushi once more. He's incredibly low here. The Hex will save his life. Miracle getting chained disabled here. The Hex into the shackles, into the totem. He gets the time lapse off though. Shikuchi away as well. Oh, but there's a fissure. They didn't even have detection, I believe. They had 1 sentry that they hadn't planted, but with the time lapse off, he almost got away, but very nicely salvaged by Mineski.
That was a huge fight actually. It's like a 1500 gold swing, but even with that, they're just barely behind on gold. Neko realizing his mistake take here now. Brought into a trap, is going to block some damage and some time, but with the enchant dispel, he's going to fall with the Montumbo rotation.
Sure, Machu's like, dude, why are you dispelling that? Keep it on him. I want that bonus damage.
That would have actually been pretty crazy. Might have one-shot him with Nether Blast. He's got the raindrop, I guess, but... and it's a Blade Mail Rush, actually, on Necro, which I don't think is a terrible idea this game. Again, squishy heroes on Liquid we pointed out in the draft, and if that's the case and you're a tanky person yourself, Blade Mail can go a long ways.
It's when you're versing these heroes where they can't really stop doing damage to you. Like the Enchantress, you throw some Impetus, they're mid-air, you can Blade Mail before they land. And the other big one is the Pugna Life Drain. I mean, he can stop it, but you're not getting Life Drained as much, or at least you're reducing the heal on Pugna, even though you're taking damage.
You won't get the heal. I'd say it's better for probably Weaver and Enchantress are the big ones, and Pugna, Decrep Blast kind of stuff. Life Drain not the best, but you know he can always interrupt that with Reaper Scythe and stuff. So not a bad idea, especially as much minus armor as there is. There's the Weaver bugs, there's the Wave of Terror for Revenge. I think a little bit of armor is going to suit him better than a minus game.
Normally you don't think armor on Necro because of Ghost Shroud, but this is a game where you can't rely on it, so getting an armor item does make a lot of sense. Bottom lane, they're going to roll on in, get a Boulder Smash to fold up on Tiny. Silence will catch the Necro, but not Moon. Fissure kind of disjointed the initiation of Liquid there, so...
Yeah. And status resistance, again, just always being such a big thing. Lowering the Decrep, slow him out, he gets out pretty quick. So they move Mushi to the mid lane, he's going for a phase into an Aquila, so his damage is quite high now. You're just going to see his crits matter, certainly to some of these heroes, but his positioning is always very based on being backed up by somebody else. So even though he's doing okay, it's costing a lot of hero resources, which means that defending towers like this isn't going to be possible.
Yeah, Machu has Aether Lens, so he can just use his spells from such long range. We saw there Decrep Blast, Life Drain on a Necro. Took away like 400 or 500 health, and Liquid almost posed a threat there. That long-range Decrep could set up something like a Rolling Boulder and something you're looking at a kill.
They got an Invis Rune though on Moon, so very similar to what we saw earlier when they got a kill. And this wasn't spotted either by Liquid. They know there isn't a rune there, and I don't know if they spotted the top rune just yet. I think Kuro has checked it, so they know there's a rune, they just don't know what it is. And we'll see if they can use a sentry. They put one down in the mid lane just to cover, and maybe Moon will walk through it. We'll see where he ends up heading. Maybe he's going to go for Mind Control bottom, go for another Reaper kill.
Back on the other side of the map, it's actually Liquid who have smoked up themselves. They were near a Dire Ward. Not sure if it's spotted him. It doesn't look like it because Mushi's going to run right into this one. Got the Rolling Boulder perfectly placed by GH, and they'll bring him down. Back at bottom, though, it's the rotation from Mineski. Reaper not going to be enough. The level 1 heal only, but with a Cloak Ogre Club, Mind Control survives through the damage.
Very tanky guy right there. It's hard with level 1 Reapers, and once he gets the cloak and he's got power treads too, just very smart itemization from him.
I imagine he'll go magic resistance at level 10 even if he wants to, or he could at least. And there's the top tier 2 going down. Ooh, being harassed a lot.
He's got a TP out here, so he rotates all the way down here. They try to get a 2v1 kill, they're unsuccessful. Their PA dies in the meantime, the tier 2 tower top dies, and Liquid is just completely controlling the map. They're all getting really tanky too, and it kind of reminds me of the previous game a bit. It's like, there's a lot of bursts on Mineski's side, but if Liquid just buys a couple survivability items, all of a sudden the whole game changes, and Mineski has to commit a lot of heroes to getting these kills.
Smoke up from Ninja Boogie at least, a solo smoke it looks like. An interesting call from him as Tiny does not really want to get involved trying to finish a Blink Dagger, but while this is still going on, Mushi has been found at the top lane. First Magnetize of the game will bring him down. Spirit Camper there still has a couple of stones to play around with as well, so it looks like the smoke from Ninja Boogie just being used to plant down some aggressive wards. Natu, be a little bit careful here. He's playing around a Hasted Tiny as well as a Shadow Shaman, but Liquid have full of extra heroes in the area.
I like how GH is playing around Weaver this whole game, because he knows that he's still a bit vulnerable here. Maybe see Moon get a kill though.
Just a Kuro Venge. He's just running in circles. He's trying to dodge the avalanche, and there isn't even an avalanche to worry about. He swaps himself out. Mind Control's there, and it forces a TP from Moon. Stun GH. Ooh. Not sure if he had time to get that one off, and he didn't think so either, so doesn't go for it as would find themselves not even losing Kuro there. Perhaps revealing that Mineski had vision on him with the Tiny making a beeline for him, but finding the D ward.
It was just a small mistake from Moon there. Maybe expected the toss to do a bit more, but the raindrop making a huge difference and just barely survived. Maybe if they also just went for the fissure, but I think Jab just wanted to play it safe. Save the fissure, use it for something else, and ultimately cost them. So that's not like 2 rotations now that aren't working while their laning stage isn't going well. So this is becoming kind of catastrophic. Much worse than Mineski's lead was towards Liquid last game.
Back bottom Necro, blast into Life Drain, gonna get countered by Moon, who does get the combo off with a Reaper and an Avatos. Takes Pugna out of the game for 45 seconds.
That's a good grab at least, finally taking him out. But Mushi being pressured top by Miracle, and Miracle just has so much more HP and stats at this point that Mushi's just gotta leave.
I mean, he's pretty close to going down even there, 100 health. One more right click with that minus armor may have just sealed the deal, or just a blur. Not proccing.
I don't blame him for going Deso Rush though. Like kind of in the past, PAs would be doing like a battle curry, but I think he needs Deso to get online. He needs to be able to do damage. They need some way to set up Reaper side kills.
That bottom wards were dropped, trying to take this T1 tower. Mind control, not even going to go for the Knights. Just going to TP his way out of there. Back to the tier 2 in fact, so needs to be careful. He's still playing around very dangerous territory here. Has a Tiny in fact behind him that he's about to run into.
He's got so much HP though.
Yeah. Actually, it's Moon who's afraid of him. Okay.
Random mud golem.
Any body block, he's going for it. The toss though.
Oh, barely
heads up play. No, they're not done. They're going to swap into a stun. They're going to bring down Moon here. He's right in his mind to try and just TP out there because he was not in a safe place, but unluckily for him, Enchantress had that mud golem.
Yeah, he's maxed out Enchant second, so it's 10-second cooldown. He casts this all the time. He can have creeps in the area. So just kind of lucky, I guess, that he has it, or maybe he has been anticipating this. Like, he knows he's the top dog this game. He does the most damage. Nobody can really kill him, so if he finds anybody, they either have to lose half their health or they have to TP home.
Putting Mineski in a tougher and tougher spot. They now have the 5k gold deficit that Liquid had in game 1 around this stage, but we'll have to see if they have the kind of comeback potential and playmaking ability that Liquid showed.
He has almost got his Deso. One more last hit and he'll have it, so this is where things will maybe turn around a bit. Choice disable on a Weaver, absolutely they can get a kill with a lucky crit or 2.
Okay, top lane, Weaver, once again just looking to zone out Mushi. Mushi's trying to bait this one, was hoping that Weaver might Shikuchi in, but it seems Miracle is wizened up to this one. He's gonna Kuchi his way out of there, and the Tiny blink into the trees guesses wrong to Miracle's positioning, and he will counterplay that smoke kick. Liquid, they're the ones coming in from behind. They catch Moon on the backlines here. There's going to be a decrypt life drain, not doing a huge amount of damage, and a pause, a very untimely one, but perhaps a necessary one, as it looks like a player PC has had some issues here.
That was my guess. The Necro was kind of just staying on his trajectory despite his allies getting initiated on, so it's not terrible for Mineski, I must say. They went for a wave of terror, they decrypt blasted to go on the Tiny, and he is in a little bit of trouble. They're about to swap him back into more danger, so very likely he dies, but maybe they can get a return kill on GH.
Jabs is quite far away in his Shaker. He's way further down. Could maybe get a fissure out, but it's maybe getting close. We'll see what happens here as we unpause back in the game. The swap is there. Moon, Avalanche doesn't actually hit Matu. As the Tosco is flying as well. Moon getting brought down very low. The Reaper doesn't get the initial kill, but does still...
Oh, they ward blocked themselves.
Oh, that's
they can't get through.
And Jabs is like, I'm on the wrong side of this one, but they get 2 kills out of it. They could have just maybe even been even better. The wards were not blocking that pathway there. Mushi with his Desolator completed, would love to find somebody else to jump on, but just doesn't have that target. And while this is all going on, Mind Control is down bottom with a siege creep, and he is pushing a tier 2 tower.
It's not all bad for them. It's a small gold advantage there. Not going to do everything, but they get the D ward. Really unfortunate. It looked like there was space for them to get through, but the ward's blocking them off. They didn't get any follow-up. Maybe lost an extra kill or 2, so pretty costly, I guess. But
Enchantress rushing MKP, by the way, against
good choice. Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, it's not that expensive an item these days. It does mixed magic damage. It'll be useful. PA does not have that much evasion right now, so he's just hedging his bets, that's for sure.
He will, eventually have the evasion, I guess, though.
He will, yeah.
Liquid into the Roche pit they go, between the Wave of Terror and the Untouchable. Roche should be pretty standard, straightforward for them. They've even found an Alpha Wolf. So all of the auras, damage bonus, 42% bonus damage coming out, and that's with level 1 bench aura.
Jeez.
Maxed out bench, you're looking at 60% bonus damage.
They are a little slow on the Roche kill, but it's completely worth it here because Mineski doesn't even feel safe separating too much. They're moving in packs of 2 because that's all they can do safety-wise. So Aegis comes up, Miracle's going to snag it, and now he's kind of in territory where he's an absolute monster. You got the Mana Break talent. He's had Dragonlance, he's now finished Diffusal Blade, so he's draining 70 mana per attack, and at this stage in the game, there's not a lot of mana on some of these crucial heroes like Tiny, so if he hits a backline and drains people fully, or even a PA, it feels like he can just take them out of the fight.
Higher scan, not going to spot this liquid rotation. They smoke all the way around. Moon's going to be the one on the high ground here. Immediate swap as Kuro puts himself in the firing line, gets the Matu Pugna back out to safety. Necross is just going down to all this magic damage. Liquid are just melting Mineski. They take Tiny out with the mind control of Pegasus. They've got 4 dead immediately. The 5th Jabs is teeping out from the trees. GH couldn't quite find him, and that fight was just over in seconds.
Yeah, it's really cool how Liquid did it though. They left Miracle in the top lane with his Weaver, and then the other 4 smoked wrapped to the other side where they expected Mineski to be going for their own bounty runes. So the big difference though is that at this 20-minute mark it becomes nighttime, and when that's the case, Liquid should have had a disadvantage because they were on the low ground, but everybody's vision went down so much that they weren't able to quite kill Matoma Man initially. But the Crow save was actually huge. I'm sure that was a huge part of that. If they're able to kill Pugna right at the start of the fight with a Reaper side, then there isn't Nether Ward, there isn't Decreps or Life Drain. Everybody can kind of do what they want on Mineski's side.
The DD on the Weaver as well, which made it even trickier for them. But
and he gets the TP to the shrine too, so he even got to be at the fight despite getting the top bounties.
Yeah, it was a true team effort. I was looking at the recap there. It was like 4 different heroes did roughly 1,600 damage there a piece. So it wasn't like one hero was just carrying through this fight. So even if someone like Pugna goes down, there's still plenty of damage upward coming out. Boulder Smash, what a play from GH there. Caught 3, as you can see there in the replay. And the Fissure kind of working against Mineski because it made it very difficult for them to get to these key targets here. And as much as the Pugna was initially in a bit of a tough position there, the Kuro save led to Pugna just being in a very safe spot, life draining the Necro away.
Exactly, because without vision like that, if the guy you want to kill disappears and there's Avenge there, you don't really want to ulti him because he's already used his crucial ability to save some engagement. And then there's nobody low enough to get Reaper's Scythe, so it's like everybody just has that moment of hesitation, and then the fight gets out of hand really fast. So definitely helps if you see the guy you want to kill, everybody knows I want to kill him, they throw the damage, you get the Reaper's Scythe, and then the rest of the team fight follows. Liquid just playing really well. It's 10k gold advantage now.
Just 22 minutes as well. See what Mineski have to say about it. They are building towards BKB on Mushi's PA. Blade Mail into Hood for Ice Ice's Necro, but he has just been having a rough time because of draft he's up against. And hey, they're ready to start poking around at this high ground here. They've got the mid-tier 3 tower down to below half health, and they're going to start blasting away this bottom one with the Pugna Aether Lens. They can do this very safely and securely. He's even got an Aeon Dish should he get jumped here. So if they want, they'll just get this tier 3 tower over time. Miracle still has the Aegis.
Ooh, they didn't go in at the same time. Definitely could have been the first Weaver killed there.
I don't know if they wanted to Reaper him though, with the Aegis.
The backline, they're going to end up finding Shaman. Only a solo kill, a little expensive for the Earth Spirit ulti, but considering their advantage, absolutely worth it for a single pickoff.
Yep. For the high ground ward that gets immediately removed, and all Mushi can do is flip push the mid-tier 1 tower, trying to get what it's called. He can. The Reaper completely getting negated. I don't know if Mineski had seen the Aeon Disc. They sure as hell didn't play like it because they just wasted the Necro ultimate. Weaver's gone chasing in, looking for Moon, won't find the kill because he gets hexed up. The swap back going to catch out Ice. That should be the death of him. And the Surfboard's being placed, but don't really see them doing a whole lot here. They can be cleaned up if Liquid want to commit for them. On the backlines is Miracle, who's just having a field day with these heroes.
At least they put the wards down. It's going to clear the creep wave at least, so they can't easily just hit buildings. So losing some health here. Comes the burst, and no, he's
surviving. Gets a Spirit Vessel charge as well. The Echo Time is there, though. Jabs will save the day with this fresh picked up Blink Dagger. Gets a couple kills with Paper with his life, though. And the fight not over just yet. Ice has just gone charging into 3 heroes, and that's not the place you want to be. Not with the Spirit Vessel charging you. No heals for you, save Liquid. Boulder Smash not even needed, just goes flying through his corpse. puts Mineski on the back foot. They've still got PA and Tiny alive though. Liquid need to be careful about this one, but with Aegis on Miracle's hands, he's feeling pretty good about himself here. Does have to worry about the Aegis expiring. 10 seconds left on this one. Miracle needs to make sure the heal does not get cancelled. Kuchi on up. Gonna be moved any second now. Oh, they go in as it expires. Does cancel the heal here. Miracle has to be very careful. He's just lost all of his health. Lost his Aegis as well. Moon brought down though. He overcommitted to try and go for that Weaver. He timed it perfectly with the Roche timer, but didn't have the detection to bring down the Weaver. And now Enchantress, MKB. Oh, big crit from Mushi with a fissure. Actually brings down the Enchantress, but pays for it with his life. And Liquid are on the high ground with 4 dead for now. 1 respawning soon, but they'll get the melee barracks.
You can really feel the impact of them being a little bit too far behind. If they're able to kill the Pugna instead of having to commit an Echo Slam, then you can save the Echo for another hero initiation or follow-up. But they're just having to spend a few too many spells to try to catch up here. And in the meantime, Liquid has amazing pushing with the Nether Blast and the Weaver right clicks. But they're going to go back and play it a little safe. The Enchant is dead. That's fine. They got the racks. They've got more gold to spend. Go collect the bounties, get more map control, and then Mineski's going to be left respawning, ready to try to group up and try to get a kill somewhere.
Yep. I mean, good place to be for Liquid here. Racks this early on, and this kind of a lead feels pretty insurmountable. We'll take another look at it here. Tiny, he timed it perfectly. Unfortunately, there was no detection. If he gets an actual full Avatos combo off as the Aegis expires, that would have been a dead Weaver, but
I think it was just a case of both of the players realizing what was at stake.
Yes.
Miracle knew, he goes back just in time. Necro in trouble in the mid lane though, is going to put a Blade Mail down, but they've got so much HP it doesn't even matter. Gets killed instantly, and another decrypt on Tiny. He's in trouble, gets stunned, Spirit Vessel. Now the Diffusal Blade, he's taking a lot of right-click damage from Miracle. He hits real hard.
Yeah, that's just like a couple Gemini attacks, and suddenly he's out of the picture. Or at least feels like that way. And T3 Tower easily brought down just because Pugna can blast it from so far away. Now Liquid will be feeling pretty happy about themselves. They'll fall back and deal with some of these shrines.
They do have a BKB on PA at least, so he's going to feel comfortable committing to fights, but he does still have to worry about Enchantress right clicks with the Monkey King bar. He's going to be able to hit impetuses reliably through BKB, and that's all pure damage.
Can they blow up the Weaver? Miracle, Blink, Echo, Totem, Fissure. Can they get a crit here? They get one. It's going to be just enough to bring down the Weaver. Is that worth an Echo Slam? Probably, if they don't lose too much in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of a downside that Earthshaker got the kills. Well, I think I would have liked to have 1,000 gold on PA, but either way, still worth it, most likely, considering the position they're in. PA still gets about 300 out of it, not terrible, but can Jabs turn that gold into something useful? And he's queuing up a Refresher Orb. That is one way to do it. Not a common Earthshaker item. Never the second thing you buy. And he's also got Tranquil Boots, so this looks really, really iffy. But
this is one of those Echo, Refresh, sit in Fountain, and then go Echo again. There's no like double. We're probably not going to see a double Echo in a team fight with his current mana pool.
But if he can, nobody would expect that at the 30-minute mark from a team that's losing. And hypothetically, if Liquid does get grouped up, you could easily see them get wiped, not expecting that much damage.
Mushi gets greedy for a tier 1 tower. He's just going to BKB. He needs to find a way out of this one. Goes for the TP. There's a swap though, and I think Mushi perhaps thought BKB TP was unstoppable in that moment. Doesn't find his way out, and that's even his 10-second BKB being used.
That's a giant mistake. It's the only way to explain that one. 10-second BKB, gets a tier 1 tower, still ends up getting killed by the enemy team. That was a tough one.
He knew the Weaver's dead, and he's thinking, oh, this is just a 100 health tier 1 tower. We can take this, right? It's safe. No, it's Liquid. Even with 4 heroes, have plenty of tools to kill you, and particularly stop your BKB TP out.
In the meantime, Moon farming across the map. Ice SI is pushing out the bot lane, still trying to get his next item, thinking about getting a pipe for survivability reasons. Will be helpful, especially against heroes like Necro or against Pugna, but
I mean, he's already got the hood. I guess the pipe actual AoE aspect doesn't stand out as being amazing to me, though.
I mean, AoE damage, like damage block is amazing if you're reducing, or if you're amplifying damage. So things like Decrep and Veil is really good to have damage block against. So it is beneficial for his team, but maybe he needs damage or something. Looks like Shadow Shaman's going to die in the safe lane here, just trying to push out the wave. But this Observer Ward they placed earlier, great spot on it, very deep and difficult to spot it. So Easy kill there, and that's going to make the high ground push a little bit easier.
There's a throwback. 2009 Dota 1 days. Burrow feeling like a noob. Not feeling like a bit of a noob right now. He just outplayed Moochie, took him down in the top lane with the swap, and Moon's next.
Swaps at the perfect time, mid-4 staff, so it cancels both of his mobility items, and a guaranteed kill when he's out of position. They can't even come forward and destroy the sentry.
Yeah, they want to get rid of these wards, but
does pipe the buildings at least, so buys them a little bit of health.
There you go.
But there's a tiny buyback. How can they find an initiation? It's going to be hard. They've got a ward on the high ground. Jabs knows that they can see him. How's he going to find an opening?
And this Nether Blast is just going to be just leading these racks in a couple of seconds here. Echo Slam goes in. It's just going to catch out GH here. No, it's actually going to include the Weaver. No, Weaver's outside. He gets away just in time. Mushi in full retreat here. Has a beetle on him, so he's being chased down. Only Earth Spirit dying on the Liquid side. Immediate buyback, as well as the Mineski deaths. Shaco wants back in. Knows he needs to defend, but already the racks are dead. Matu able to just blast them both down simultaneously. Moon 4-star out of the life drain, but Tiny with a 4-star does not feel good right now. 30 minutes in, you're down 2 full lanes of racks, and you just have no way to scale as a carry.
They're taking building hits. They need to find an opening somehow, but they've got no Reaper side. They've got no Echo Slam. Maybe they're going to toss in their Earthshaker or something. That's what it kind of looks like. Tossing it back over the
follow-up. So keeps him inside the base, but Kuro, he's there. He goes on the outside. Jabs needs to be careful, though. That's a dive back from him, and Weaver also going to buy back and time-lapse in. Miracle, full health immediately. The swap save from Kuro was nice, but Jabs made sure they could finish off the kill. Unfortunately for Mineski, I believe this is going to be the end, at least the end of their racks here, and perhaps this series as a whole. Mineski, they fought to the bitter end, and they're going to keep on fighting, but down Mega Creeps, there's just not really much of a play to be made. They have no wave clear, no Battle Fury on PA, no items on Tiny. They're trying to just get the last couple of kills here, but it's just misery, despair, and death for them, as Moon will be the last death of the game.
Wants an extra kill on the board to help out his team. So what a team fight and what a game from Liquid. I mean, game 1 looked a little rough, but watching game 2 now, it just felt like that laning stage from Mineski was an outdraft and a fluke, because this game 2 felt so simple.
Yeah,
but I mean the draft of
wants an extra kill on the board to help out his team. So what a team fight and what a game from Liquid. I mean, game 1